Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashvalakaya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees for today's Bhakti Shastri class. Today we are looking into the second part of fifth lesson, the absolute and the relative. Last class we have seen the three shloka 9, 10 and 11, and today we are continuing to 12, 13 and 14th part, that is Sambhuti. Nine to 11 is talking about the absolute and the relative in terms of knowledge, and 12 to 14 is talking about in terms of worship, worshipping the absolute. Now comparison of the both. Shloka number 9 says Andam Tama Pravishyanti e Avidyam Upasate, and 12 says Andam Tama Pravishyanti e Asambhuti Upasate. So wherever there is Vidya in 9th, 10th and 11th, here the 12th will be having Sambhuti and Asambhuti. These are the similarities between these three shlokas. And if you see the meaning also, it is similar. Culture of nescience, still more so culture of so-called knowledge. Similarly, worship of demigods, and still more so worshippers of impersonal enter into the darkness. So almost the flow is similar. So what this 12th shloka says here, the shloka number 12 says that Asambhuti takes to darkness and Sambhuti to greater darkness. Here Asambhuti means one which doesn't have an independent existence, and Sambhuti means one who is supreme or one who is fully independent. And 13th shloka says Asambhuti gives one result and Sambhuti gives another result. Finally, Sambhuti and Asambhuti together grant immortality. This is the similar way that we have studied in the previous. Asambhuti, and in the first shloka, that is 12th shloka, says that both are giving two different results. That is, Sambhuti takes to darkness and Asambhuti takes to even more darkness. The intensity is increased in the 12th one. And 13th is separating. That is, one gives one result, another gives completely different result. And the 14th says that both are needed for achieving the immortality. That is 12 to 14 overview. Now, what is this Asambhuti and Sambhuti? Asambhuti refers to demigods who are dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Sambhuti, in the 12th shloka, Sambhuti refers to the impersonal absolute truth. So what the 12th shloka says then, one who is a worshipper of demigod, he is going into darkness, and one who is worshipping impersonal absolute truth, he will go to even more darkness. And 13th one, Asambhuti means anything other than Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means anything other than any material things or anything that is very glorious, which is visible to us. If we worship it, it is Asambhuti. And Sambhuti means Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. That is the 13th one. And 14th, Asambhuti means knowledge of the material world, and Sambhuti means knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So both are needed. If we want to go back to Godhead, we should have the knowledge of material world, and we must have the knowledge of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Both together will help us to go back to Godhead. So in this way, the flow is present in this Sambhuti and Asambhuti. The 12th shloka says that Andham tama pravishyanti ye asambhuti mupasate tato bhuya ivate tamo yavu sambhutyam rata. Those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance. And still more so do the worshipper of the impersonal absolute. This statement is also confirmed by Bhagavad Gita. In the 7th chapter, sloka number 23, if we see, Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavati alpamedasam devan deva yajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi, it says. It means men of small intelligence worship the demigods. And in the 24th shloka, Krishna says, Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyate mam abuddhayaha parambhavamajananto mamavyayam anuttamam. So what Krishna is telling here, for the demigod worshippers, he says alpamedasa. That means they have little intelligence, because they don't know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they worship the demigod. But one who is a worshipper of impersonal Brahman, or one who is worshipping a avyaktam, one which doesn't have the formless, but which is changeless, formless, such things, he is called as abuddhayaha. That means he doesn't have any intelligence. So if we comparatively, less intelligence is better than no intelligence. Here Krishna compares the demigod worshippers to be alpamedasam and the impersonal worshippers as abuddhayaha, or no intelligence. What the purport says here, even the demigods and rishis misunderstand the absolute truth to be impersonal. The paragraph number 1, 2, and 3 in the shloka 12, you can refer. Name vidu suragana prabhavam na maharshayaha ahamadirhi devana maharshinam cha sarvashaha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 10.2, nobody can understand me as I am. Either demigods or rishis or anybody, they cannot understand Krishna completely. And many philosophers, great rishis, mystics, they try to understand the absolute truth, but their tiny brain power, it cannot make them possible to understand the Lord. So it is very difficult to understand Lord. Then third paragraph, such mental speculators do not know that absolute personality of Godhead is Krishna that the impersonal Brahman is the glaring effulgence of his transcendental body. In the next paragraph, that is 4 to 7, Krishna says demigod worshippers stay in the dark material world. That is Andam Tama Pravishyanti. It is said that only an unintelligent, bewildered person driven by a strong desire for sense gratification worship the demigods. Why demigod worship is made? Because by worshipping the demigods, the result is very fast. And whatever result comes, it comes without any protection. That's why people get attracted to demigod worship more than worshipping Krishna directly. Whenever a devotee goes to Krishna, Krishna is like the mother. He will check everything. If a child goes to mother and asks, give me 100 rupees, mother will not simply just open the pocket and give. She will ask, why you want money? What will you do with this money? That is Krishna's nature. Krishna is very much concerned about us. But demigods, they just want to get some glory, or they just want to be great. So what they do, they will immediately give. Okay, what you want, take it. No problem. If you see the examples of demons, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, or Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, all these people, they worshipped demigod. What they got what they wanted immediately. But what is the result? They destroyed themselves. At the same time, if you take another example of Dhruva Maharaj, who had the similar intention. Dhruva Maharaj wanted the kingdom which is more than his grandfather. His father is Uttanapada. Uttanapada's father is Swayambhuva. He wants the kingdom more than that. How to get that big kingdom? So his mother directed him to Lord Vishnu. So Dhruva worshipped Lord Vishnu directly. And when he got the darshan of the Lord, what he said, I got the greatest thing in my life. I don't want anything else. Swamin Kritarthosmi Varam Nayase. I don't want anything else. I just got your vision. That itself is sufficient for my life. So what happened here? The purification happened. Neither Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, or Ravana, Kumbhakarna got the purification. These people, they did a lot of austerity and they controlled their senses. And using those controlled senses, they could win the 14 planetary systems. Then with that, they got puffed up and then they harmed themselves. They completely let their senses loose. And because of that, they got destroyed. But if you see the example of Dhruva Maharaj, he also got what he wanted. But when he got that, he also got the purification so that he will never make any mistake further. He will not become a victim of his senses anymore. And at the end, he went back to Dhruvaloka, which is present even today. But we don't know where is the throne of Hiranyakashipu, who ruled the entire world, or who was ruling the heavenly kingdom. His presence is not visible. So that is the glory of directly worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But one who worships the demigod, they will remain in the material darkness. And impersonalists who mislead people go to the darkest region of hell. So impersonalist, one who makes others to go in the same direction, they will go even to the more darkness. Even more darker place they will go. That is the understanding here. Why impersonalists are more condemned than demigod worshippers here? Because demigod worshippers, at least they accept the Vedas, or they will accept a superior power. But impersonalists, they are in one way supporting the atheist by saying that there is God, but that God doesn't have a form. He doesn't have a existence finally they will remove the existence of the God himself. It's like a hidden atheism, that is impersonalism. So if you compare demigod worship and impersonal worship, the impersonal worship is even more dangerous than the demigod worship. So such people will go to the even darker hell. Anybody would like to read can raise their hand. Radha Vallavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Ishu Upanishad points out that one who worships the demigods and attains to their material planets still remain in the darkest region of the universe. The whole universe is covered by the gigantic material elements. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. So why this demigod worship concept is there? The concept of worshipping demigod, it is even explained in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantuha parasparam bhavayanta siddhim paramavapsyataha. That means the human being, they should try to worship the demigods or satisfy the demigods. And when the demigods, they get satisfied, they will give you rain and all the grains, everything will come. So both of you can be happy together. That demigod worship is already there. But why this is present is just to bring the people from the atheism to the boundary of the Vedas. If a person is just living like an animal, who is just earning and feeding his belly and doesn't care for anything further, higher aspects of life, such a person is definitely going to animal kingdom once again, depending on his propensity. To save such people and to attract them, Yamimam Pushpitam Vacham Pravadanti Vipastita. These Vedas, they will have some flowery language. You people are working so hard day and night, but still you are suffering so much. Then what the Vedas say, you can worship this demigod, you can do some sacrifice so that you can get better benefits, better facility for your sense gratification. Why can't you do this? So they get attracted to it. Oh, it is so then I don't have to work so hard. No, you don't have to work so hard. You just have to give a portion of your earning to such and such demigod, and that demigod will give you whatever you want. So satisfying each other, you both can become happy. So by seeing this, the person gets attracted to the instructions of Veda. Now, once he gets into this, when he starts sacrificing, he will learn to give to something. And gradually, one day he will realize that these demigods are not independent and they are not really in need of my good, or they are not making any benefit for me. They are only doing their duty. They are bound to give benediction whomever worships them. So such demigods, they will understand it is better to worship the Lord directly. So there is a scope. Now, demigod worship is good for whom? It is good for a person who is atheistic or who is very new to the spiritual understanding. But the problem is, one should not accept demigod worship to be everything. What will happen if we accept demigod worship itself is everything? Then our progress in spiritual life will be stopped there itself. It is like a person who is scoring 40% marks in the exam. If he tries to come to 60%, it is good. That is atheist coming to the demigod worship. But a person who is already scoring 80% or 85% in the exam, if he goes back to 60%, then it is bad. So one should not go back. One who is worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one who has understood that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he should not worship the demigod for material gain. he should not use the facility of karma kanda for sense gratification. That will bring him down in the spiritual life. This does not mean that we should disrespect the demigods. Demigods should be worshipped in the sense they should be given all kinds of respect, because demigods are the appointed servants of Krishna. They are appointed. Unless Krishna has empowered them, they will not be able to give any kind of benediction, or they will not be able to perform the activities. So in that sense, everyone must respect the demigods, but at the same time, we should not worship them with an intention of gaining material benefits. Shri Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
It is just like a coconut covered by a shell and half filled with water. Since its covering is airtight, the darkness within is dense, and therefore the sun and the moon are required for illumination. Mantra 12, purport. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. If the demigods are not there, our material world cannot work peacefully, because we need them. This world can go on peacefully with the help of demigods. It is just like demigods are also bound by karma. They are not free. Because they are bound by karma, they have been given some higher positions. It is just like in a jail, those criminals or those people who are more responsible, who are more taking more care, then they will be given some responsibility. Okay, you distribute the food, you take care of the plates, like that, you take the attendance, like that, some service will be given even for the prisoners within the jail who are more responsible. Similarly, in the material world also, those people who are more pious, those who are more responsible, with whom Krishna accepts them, such people will be given a higher position or more responsibility, so that the activities in the material world can go on. So this material world is full of darkness. The spiritual world is fully bright. There is no need for any sun, moon, electricity, no. Na tad bhasayate suryo, na shashanko, na pavakaha, yadgatva na nivartante tadhama paramamama. In spiritual world, everything is self-effulgent. But in the material world, what happens? Because of this covering, it is just like the Mahatattva. The sun is covered by the cloud. The material world is having so many coverings. The coverings of the 5 elements and the subtle elements, all these things, everything is 10 times more than each other. Then these coverings will make it completely dark inside. It's like a coconut shell. The coconut shell, it has outer shell, then inner hard shell, and again inside the white shell, and then in that it is filled with water, half filled with water. Similarly, this Brahmanda, it is having so many layers, and within that there is the Garbhodaka water. Then within that Garbhodakshai Vishnu is lying down. So we need sun, we need moon, we need Indra, we need Chandra. They all are taking care of the material world. They are doing their duty. Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Impersonalists. The ignorant pseudo regionists and the manufacturers of so-called incarnations who directly violate the Vedic injunctions are liable to enter into the darkest region of the universe because they misled those who follow them. These impersonalists generally pose themselves as incarnations of God to foolish persons who have no knowledge of Vedic wisdom. If such foolish men have any knowledge at all, it is more dangerous in their hands than ignorance itself. Mantra 12, purport. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Now coming to the impersonalist as compared to the demigods. In demigod worship, people are having some kind of progress. As the person becomes more and more serious in advancing spirituality, he will realize that demigods are not completely free, they are under the control of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then they will gradually come to the right understanding. But in case of impersonalist, what they think, they will think that this impersonal understanding itself is everything. And they say that the Lord has come from the impersonal Brahman. Avajananti Mammuda Manushim Tanumashritam. The Lord, when he comes here, actually he is a impersonal, he doesn't have a form. But when he comes here, he takes a form and comes. This is ignorance. This is complete ignorance. In the case of demigod worshippers, they are ignorant about the higher purpose. That is quite natural because they are not aware of it. But in case of impersonalist, this is like they themselves have created this ignorance, that they think that impersonal understanding itself is the highest. And when God comes here as an incarnation, he is coming from the impersonal Brahman. So finally, the Lord doesn't have any form. This kind of understanding is even more dangerous. Shri Hari Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. These rogues are the most dangerous elements in human society. They escape punishment by the law of the state. They cannot, however, escape the law of the Supreme, who has clearly declared in the Gita that envious demons in the garb of religious propagandists shall be thrown into the darkest regions of hell. BG 16.1920, Mantra 12 purport. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Krishna says in 16th chapter, Tanaham Dushata Kruran Samsareshu Naradhaman. For such people, I will send them to the darkest region of hell. Why? Because when the person is not worshipping the Lord, he is only making a show of spirituality. And whoever comes in contact with him, he is misleading them also. So for both the cases, for not accepting the Lord as the Supreme and also for misleading others, he will go to the hell. Jayanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Sri Isho Upanishad confirms that these pseudo-religionists are heading toward the most obnoxious place in the universe after the completion of their spiritual master business, which they conduct simply for sense gratification. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So here, Prabhupada is telling one who is performing this spiritual master business. So actually, he is only making a show of spiritual master because he himself is in darkness. So what is his destination? He will go to hell again. So once he finishes the activity. So one should not worship the impersonalist, but one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But for that purpose, one may get attracted to the Vedas, the attractive, flowery language of Vedas, but then gradually one can elevate to the higher platform. Now coming to the Mayavada philosophy, what the modern Mayavada philosophy says here. The Mayavada in modern society, it has taken a different kind of form. In general, we know that Mayavada means one who is accepting Krishna to be under Maya, or they claim that I am also God, you are also God, everyone is God. But why we don't realize that I am God? Because I am under Maya, you are under Maya. When we come out of Maya, then we all realize that I am God. That means Maya is capable of covering the God, the self-God. That is Mayavada. That is general understanding. But in modern society, this Mayavada has taken even one more deviation, that is grains of impersonalism from Upanishad. In Upanishads, we can see the impersonal explanation of the absolute truth. because Upanishads doesn't directly speak about the Lord's name. It will not directly give the name of the Lord. So there is impersonal understanding or the argument in the Upanishads. That becomes the main focus or grain, the main substance for Mayavada. If you say that in Vedas, Krishna is the highest, Vedeshta sarve rahameva vedyaha. But these people say, no, in Upanishads, it is not so told. There is no Krishna's name anywhere in Upanishads or in Vedas. They try to argue like that. That is the main substance. And they will stop the service to Krishna. That is sugar of social service. It is very attractive, social service. Manava seva, Madhava seva. By serving the human being, we can become more happy than serving the Lord. That is the most sweetest part of modern Mayavada. I will not worship. I am not a spiritualist. I don't care for God. My God is my people whom I am serving. And spice of nationalism. So by having the devotion to the nation, it is more important than the devotion to the Lord. That means it's like a animalistic way of understanding. That nationalism, to have a respect for the place where we are living, it is great. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, Bharata Bhumita Manusha Janma Hailayara Janma Sartakakari Karo Paropakara. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is encouraging us for taking birth in this great land of Bharata Bhumi. So by doing this encouragement, he is expecting us to spread the message of God. There is no mistake in that. But neglecting the service to Krishna, neglecting the love for Krishna, and only taking the nationalism itself as everything, that is again becomes Mayavada. And envy of Krishna. We all have a certain kind of enviousness towards Krishna. Why Krishna only has to enjoy as God? Why not me? I can also become God. That tendency is there in each and every conditioned living entity. So that envy also adds to this Mayavada. So in this way, the modern Mayavada takes. Now, what is the disaster from this Mayavada? What happens here? It deprives the soul of its natural higher taste of Bhakti. The living entity has a natural tendency for surrendering to someone. If you see small children, they try to find someone who can guide them. Or anybody in society, we want someone to follow or someone we can refer so that we can follow their instruction and we can do advancement in whatever field. So that surrendering tendency is there. And when it is given to the spiritual aspect, then we surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Gradually it will happen. But by giving this Mayavada philosophy, why are you surrendering to Krishna? You yourself can become Lord. You are also God. I am also God. By this kind of philosophy, there is no concept of surrender at all. Because who can surrender to whom? God is surrendering to God. That is not possible. So that very purpose of human form of life itself is lost. Then the second part is, makes material life appear more attractive than spiritual life. Why should I go back to Godhead? What is the understanding of Mayavadis? Okay, if you go back to Godhead, what will happen? You will merge with the absolute. You will lose your existence. Why should I lose my existence? I am happy here. At least let me have my individuality so that I can enjoy in this material world. Completely giving up of existence is like death. Who likes to die? Everyone wants to live. So the material life is more enjoyable than the spiritual perfection in Mayavada. So better don't go there. Live here only. So all these confusions, all these problems will occur when a person has this impersonal understanding or the understanding of Mayavada philosophy, which is much, much more dangerous as compared to the demigod worship. demigod worship is better. It is just like taking a person from 40% to 60%. If a person comes to the demigod worship, he is advancing from atheism to demigod worship. But if he goes to the Mayavada philosophy, Mayavada Bhashya Sunile Hoya Sarva Nasha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. If you hear the philosophy of Mayavada, your spiritual life will be completely destroyed. So don't hear them. Mayavadi Krishna Aparadhi. Mayavadi, one who is propagating Mayavada philosophy, he is an offender to Krishna, but not the demigod worshipper. Continuing to the next sloka, sloka number 13. This sloka says how the demigod worship and impersonal worship are giving two different results. Anything other than Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is Asambhuti, and Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Sambhuti. Anyadevahu sambhavat, anyadahu asambhavat, iti shushrumadhiranam, enastat vichachakshire. It is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and that another result is obtained by worshipping what is not supreme. All this is heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explained it. Overview, the purport is having totally 16 paragraphs. The first paragraph, it is told, Dhira exposes folly of all paths lead to the same goal. Now here, in this shloka, and also the shloka, the previous shloka, that is 10th shloka in Ishopanishad, they both give two opposite results. And also in the previous session, last week, we have heard the instruction by contrast. That means Krishna is describing two contrast things. 31 and 32 of third chapter, if you see what he says there. Ye me matamidam nityam anutishtanti manava shraddhayanto anasuyanto muchyante tepi karmabhihi. Etvetab abhyasuyanto nanutishtanti me matam sarvajnana vimodanstan vidhi nashtana chetasaha. So Krishna is describing two opposite things. Either you follow, you will be glorious. And if you don't follow, you will lose everything. So these are the two contrasts. But if somebody says all paths lead to the same goal, the famous example Prabhupada says in the purport also, if you take ticket from Mangalore to Chennai, you can reach Chennai. You cannot reach Delhi. Similarly, if we worship demigod, we go to the demigod planet. Or if we worship the Bhutas, we go to the planets of Bhuta. Or if we worship somebody else, we'll go there. And if we worship Krishna, we go back to Godhead. This is very clear. That is Dhira, one who has understood this to be Dhira. But somebody may say that this is all transcendental. You cannot compare it to the material things. This going to Chennai or going to Delhi, it is all material. The spiritual aspects are all inclusive. If you say like that also, then why Krishna is discriminating here with so much of clarity? All these things, all this shloka, it has a very clear distinction. If you do this, this will happen. And if you don't do this, this will happen. Why Krishna has to say like that? He could have told, this also can be done, this also can be done, so that you will get to the same goal. He has not told like that. Krishna has used this instruction by contrast in many places in Bhagavad Gita, Ishopanishad, and in many other places also. So why this contrast is there? If everything is, all the path is leading to the same place, then there is no need to speak like that. Yanti deva vrata devan, pitrun yanti pitruvrata. Bhutani yanti bhuteja, yanti madhyajinopi mam. Why Krishna has to say all these things? He could have told, no, you worship demigods or you worship bhutas, whatever you may do, finally you will come to me. Did Krishna say like that? No. Then how can we say that all paths lead to the same goal? It is not possible. Dhira teaches the Shastra. The paragraph number 2 and 2 to 4, that is 2, 3, and 4. Krishna, Srila Prabhupada is explaining how the Dhira is explaining the Shastra. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakalene hamata yogo nashta parantapa. Krishna himself has told this parampara, this jnana is coming through the parampara, through the rajarshis. In this way, they have given this knowledge which is originated from Krishna himself. Then continuing further, accept Krishna as Sambhavat. Yes, Krishna is all, everything. Example is Arjuna kills so-called relatives to satisfy Krishna. This is in paragraph number 9. In the 5 to 8, Prabhupada explains, in the beginning, here it is said, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam bhuda bhava samanvita. Whatever is there, everything belongs to Krishna. So whatever Krishna says, that is the final. There is no doubt about it. When Krishna says sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja, we should accept it. So that is accepting Krishna as a Sambhavat, the original person whom we have to worship. That is Sambhavat. Arjuna kills his all relatives on the order of Krishna to satisfy Krishna as becoming an instrument, as a becoming nimitta matrena bhavasavya sachin. And those who say no, that means for them people are my God or I am God. All these things they claim. So even Arjuna also in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he told so many reasons. He told 5 reasons why he don't want to fight. That means he is not taking Krishna as the final authority. He is trying to say that Krishna, by this war, you are establishing adharma. Adharma bhivavat Krishna, he says. So everywhere adharma will be established. And to whom he is speaking? The person who came for establishing dharma. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyam. Krishna has declared this. And for Krishna himself, he is telling, Krishna, you are establishing adharma. So that is understanding of Arjuna in the beginning. Of course, Arjuna is playing the part of a conditioned soul. And finally, he surrendered to Krishna. Then Krishna gives him the real knowledge. So one must accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and worship him. Hearing from Dhira helps one and all to attain the perfection. So if you want to get the perfection, we must hear from the parampara, acharya. Acharya means acharati, one who is giving the by example. Whoever takes surrender to the spiritual master and Krishna, he can get out of these 3 modes of material nature. The Bhagavatam 2nd canto 4th chapter 18th shloka says, Kirata hunandra pulinda pulkasa abhira shumbha yavanakasadaya ennecha papa yadashraya shuddhyanti tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. So never mind, a person has low born or he's ugly or not intelligent, never mind. One who takes the guidance of a pure devotee of the Lord, that is, who is a Dhira, he can easily go back to Godhead. Because the Lord is very powerful. The Lord can take us back to Godhead. Now coming to the worship of wrong worship. So what is wrong worship? Worshipping the worshipping oneself or worshipping the service of the society, that is Madhava Seva, Manava Seva, Madhava Seva. So what is the problem with this kind of philosophy? What it says? So is Manava Seva or is Manava Seva not Madhava Seva? By serving human being, am I serving Lord? It is not possible, because to satisfy the world's sanitization and food requirement would cost only $13 billion US dollars. This is a old statistics. What the people of the United States and the European Union spend on perfume each year. So if you are really interested in serving the Manava, you don't have to stop the Seva for Madhava. You don't have to stop the worship of the Lord for serving the humanity. You just have to stop your sense gratification. That is enough. We are spending so much of money for sports and for movies or for so many activities for sense gratification, and we just accept it to be all right. But when it comes to the worship of the Lord, they say that it is all waste. This shows that the person is envious of the service to Krishna. Because of that enviousness, we came here. And after coming here also, we are continuing the same mistake. When the Lord is served opulently, then they say that, why are you doing so much for the Lord? Can't you see the beggar on the street? Can't you feed them? By serving the Lord also, those who come to the temple, they all will be given prasadam, which is more glorious than simply giving the food to the public. Nearly one in four people, 1.3 billion, a majority of humanity, live on a less than $1 per day, while the world's 358 billionaires have assets exceeding the combined annual incomes of countries with 45% of the world's people. Again, this is the world statistics. It's in dollars. So what it says, we are clapping at the people saying that, oh, you are the first richest person in the world. And another person, you are the second richest person in the world. We celebrate it. But what does it mean? He is the greatest, richest person in the world means he is possessing all the wealth. It is all with one person. If we distribute that wealth to the poor people, then he can solve the problem. Why they are only speaking about the worship of the Lord? Why you want to stop the Madhava Seva in the name of Manava Seva? Okay, now if we solve this problem from this end, that means if you give away everything, if we feed them, is it the solution for the problem? It cannot solve the problem, because the greed which is causing the real starvation, it is not the shortage. As long as the person has greed within his heart, so long the starvation will continue. So we should remove the greed from the heart of the people so that the starvation can be stopped at once. So when people become godless, they concomitantly become materialistic and greedy, and so exploit nature and their fellow humans for their selfish enjoyment. By making people more and more Krishna conscious, what we are trying to do, we are removing the greed from their heart so that they will become more charitable, or they will become more helpful to the society. So instead of giving the food directly to the people, by stopping the Madhava Seva. So Krishna's service has to continue. We may feed a few hungry people, but till we remove greed from the wealthy people's heart, hunger will continue to torment millions. So somebody else will take the advantage and they will encroach upon the property and they will make the money. So this is not a solution. So it will increase the solution. But what is the real solution for the problem? It is to remove the greed from the heart of the living entity. That is through spreading Krishna consciousness. And on top of that, we are not the maintainers. Krishna is the maintainer. One who is atheist or one who has no realization, he will not understand this, that Krishna is the real maintainer. We are thinking that I am only the one who is controlling everything. How to remove the greed? When people are offered spiritual education and experience, they understand that their real happiness is in loving God, not in accumulating material things. Then they will give up the greed. And then transforming the heart of the greedy, wealthy person is more effective to tackle starvation than merely feeding a few hungry people. So making people Krishna conscious is a greater service to the society than feeding them directly. So this Krishna consciousness movement, it is giving the best human service for all, so that everyone can become happy. Anybody comes to the temple, they will be given sumptuous prasadam. Now, if you only give the good intention, if you have some good intention, you do good for the people who are in the society, will it solve the problem? No. Why? This we can see practically. If you give money to a beggar, what he will do? If you give this, you can practically see. If you give food to them, they'll say, no, I don't want food, give me money. Because that money he can buy some any intoxications, anything he wants, he can buy. But if you give, I'm hungry. Okay, if you are hungry, I'll give you food. No, I don't want food, give me money. That is what they say. If a person with a venereal disease is cured, what he will do? He will continue the same sinful activities by which he got that disease. If you offer free treatment to an alcoholic, do you know what he will do after getting cured? He will again go and drink. But if you give him Krishna consciousness, he himself will give up drinking and his health will automatically get cured. So we can conclude that the road to the hell is often paved with good intention. So your good intention to make people happy can take them to the darkest region, or they can cause the fall down of the person. So what is the best service? It is to distribute the Krishna consciousness to the people. When the entire humanity becomes Krishna conscious, then there is no starvation, there is no greed, there is no problem. Everyone is happy. This entire world will become Vaikuntha. The questions will take at the last, Prabhuji. You can unmute if something else, emergency is there.
No emergency. Kirtan, Prabhuji, 1205.
Yeah, we'll start Kirtan. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Radha Vallavi Mataji, no?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Mataji, you can raise your hand. Okay, I'll make you co-host.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna to everyone. This is the Mangal Aarti, which is sung in Vrindavan. And this is being, the author of this bhajan is Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Vibhavari Shesha Aloka Pravisha Nitrachari Yutta Jiva Vibhavari Shesha Aloka Pravisha निद्रा चढ़ी उठ जीवा, बोलो हरि मुकुंद मुरारी, राम कृष्ण हरति वा, बोलो हरि मुकुंद मुरारी, कृष्ण विभावरी शेष आलोक प्रवेश, निद्रा चढ़ी उठ जीवा, नरसिंह वामन श्रीमधुसूदन, ब्रजंग नंदन श्यामा, पूतना भगत संतन, जय दशरथ रामा, विभावरी शेष आलोक प्रवेश, निद्रा चढ़ी उठ जीवा, यशोदा दूलाला, गोविंद गोपाला, वृंदावन पुरंदरा, यशोदा दूलाला, गोविंद गोपाला, वृंदावन पुरंदरा, गोपी प्रिया जन भुवन विभावरी शेष आलोक प्रवेश, निद्रा चढ़ी उठ जीवा, रावण तस्कर मखन, रावण तस्कर मखन तस्कर, गोपी जन वस्त्रहारी, रचिर राखय गोपाल वल्लभाल, चित्त हरि बंसीधारी, विभावरी शेष आलोक प्रवेश, निद्रा चढ़ी उठ जीवा, योगेंद्र बंदन श्री नंदनंदन, ब्रज जन भयहारी, नवीन नयकर रूप मनोहर, मोहन बंसीधारी, विभावरी आलोक सुंदर, बिहारी, यशोदानंदन कंस निसूदन, निकुंज विलासी, कंसम्बा वृंदाविपिन आनंद वर्ष प्रेम निकेतन, पुलकर जोपामा, गोपगण गण चित्त विनोद, समस्त गुण गणतामा, विभावरी शेष आलोक प्रवेश, निद्रा चढ़ी उठ जीवा, बोलो हरि हरि मुकुंद राम कृष्ण हरति वा, जमुना केली परायण, रस चंद्र चकोरा, नाम शुद्ध कृष्ण जस, राखो वचन मन मोरा, विभावरी शेष आलोक प्रवेश, निद्रा चढ़ी उठ जीवा, बोलो हरि मुकुंद राम कृष्ण Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Translation. The night has come to an end, and the light of dawn is entering. O Jivas, O Jiva soul, arise and give up sleep. Give up your sleep. Chant the holy name of Lord Hari, who is giver of liberation, the enemy of the Mura demon, the supreme enjoyer, the all-attractive one, and the horse-headed incarnation, Hayagriva. Lord Krishna, Hari, incarnated as the half-man, half-lion Narsimha, he appeared as a dwarf Brahmana named Upendra and is the killer of the Madhu demon. He is the beloved son of the king of Braja, Nanda Maharaj, and is blackish in complexion. He is the slayer of the Putna witch and the destroyer of the demon Kaitava. All glories to Lord Hari, who appeared as Lord Rama, the son of King Dashratha. He is darling of Mother Yashoda, the giver of peace to the cows, land and spiritual senses, and the protector of cows. He is the Lord of Vrindavan forest, the gopis, beloved, the lover of Radhika, and the most beautiful personality of all the worlds. As Ramachandra, he brought about the end of the demonic king Ravana. As Krishna, he stole the older gopis' butter. He stole younger gopis' clothes while they were bathing in the Yamuna. He is covered boy of Raja and the protector of the covered boys. He steals the heart of all and always holds a flute. Lord Krishna is worshipped by the best of yogis, and he is the son of Nanda. He removes all the fears of the inhabitants of Raja. He is the color of a fresh rain cloud, and his form is enchanting. When he wanders about playing his flute, he looks very charming. He is the son of Yashoda, the killer of King Kamsa, and he sports in the Rasa dance among the groves of Braja. Krishna engages in the Rasa dance underneath the Kadama trees, and he resides in the forest of Vrindavan. He increases the ecstasy of his devotees. He is the reservoir of all love and is transcendental Cupid, who uses his flowered arrows to increase the loving desires of the gopis. He is the pleasure of the gopis' heart and the abode of all wonderful qualities. Lord Krishna is the life of the river Yamuna. He is always absorbed in amorous pastimes, and he's the moon of the gopis' mind, which are like the chakor birds that subsist only upon moonlight. O mind, obey these words of mine and sing the glories of Sri Krishna in the form of these holy names, which are full of nectarian melodies. Hare Krishna to everyone. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Let us continue to the next shloka number 14. Sambhutim cha vinasham cha yastadvedhu bhayam saha vinashena mrityum tirtva sambhutyam amritamashnute. One should know perfectly the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna and his transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastimes, as well as the temporary material creation with its temporary demigods, men and animals. When one knows these, he surpasses death and the ephemeral cosmic manifestation with it. And in the eternal kingdom of God, he enjoys his eternal life of bliss and knowledge. By knowing both, by knowing Krishna and also the Krishna's energies, by doing both, one can come to the eternity or go back to Godhead. overview of this 14th shloka. Vinashena, that is nothing, not even science can make this world deathless. This is similar to the shloka 11, where immortality is impossible, what we studied in the last session. Because the body undergoes 6 kinds of changes, which is not non-stoppable. It cannot be stopped. The body will definitely come to an end because it has a birth, so it will have a death also. Then Veda gives information about death filled with death-free, death-filled and death-free world, both. So in the Veda, we can understand the 2 types of world, that is Vishnu Shakti Paraprokta Kshetra Jnakya Tatha Para Avidya Karma Sanyaya Tritiya Shakti Ishyate. This is Vishnu Purana 6.7.61. Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, possesses different energies known as Para and Apara, superior and inferior. The living entities belong to the superior energy, and this material world belongs to the inferior energy. Our material body is made up of inferior energy, which has death, but the soul, which belongs to the superior energy, it doesn't have a death. Then only by surrendering to Krishna, we can transcend the death. That is from 7 to 9. Shloka number 7 and 7, 8, 9. Then finally, give up misconceptions to attain immortality. That is 9 and 10. Now, if we look at the way in which the timings are calculated in the Vedas, this is also coming in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita in the beginning. We know that what is the duration of Kali Yuga, then in the beginning, Krita Yuga comes, the Satya Yuga, then comes Treta Yuga, then comes Dwapara Yuga, and then the Kali Yuga. So if we look into this, what we can understand, this material world is undergoing a cyclic process. It is not a linear process. As we see in the Western philosophy, it is a linear line what they have. They are claiming that there was a beginning and gradually the development has happened. In the beginning, monkeys were there. Now human beings have come. And finally, there is a destruction of everything. And there is a day of judgment. And after that, everything is over. That is a linear scale. But if we see in nature, everything is cyclic. So there is now the rainy season has come. After that, winter. Again, sun will come. Then again, rain. Then again, winter. Like that. Even in any different countries, they have different ways of naming it. But it is cyclic. Today is Sunday. Tomorrow Monday. Again, after Sunday, there is another Sunday. After Saturday, there is Sunday. Again, it comes Monday. So there is January, February. After December, January, again February, like that. Everything is coming in cycle. Then what happens? There is destruction in between. Sometimes there is destruction. What are these destruction? If you see the Yuga, the Yuga Sandhya, at the end of one Yuga, there is destruction of everything. And there is a beginning of another Yuga. And when one complete Yuga is over, when one Mahayuga is over, again there is destruction, and then start another Yuga. Like that, when 71 Yuga is over, then another Manvantara will start. Like that, when 14 Manvantara is over, the Lord Brahma goes to sleep. Again, there is destruction. And next day, Lord Brahma will wake up and again start creating. So that is also cyclic. And when Brahma completes his life, then everything is over. Then again, the Lord will start another Brahmanda. So what we can conclude from this, whatever material possession we make, it is meant for destruction. Just like small children, they play in this beach. They make small houses. And after they finish playing, what they do? They destroy everything and come back. They're not bothered about it. It is meant for playing, so it is destroyed. That's all. So this material world is an opportunity to go back to Godhead. If we try to make big establishments here itself, then it is of no use because the time will destroy it. It is not meant for making any establishment here. We should use this opportunity to go back to Godhead. We should earn something which we can carry. Don't try to possess whatever possible and which you have to live here itself. So let us see the calculation once again. So what it says, at the beginning and end of each yuga, there are sandhyas, each equal to 1/12 time of the yuga in which it is. That is, for example, Kali Yuga has 4,32,000 years or 432,000 years. And Kali Sandhya, that is 36,000 years, plus Kali Yuga, that is 360,000 years, plus another Kali Sandhya, that is 36,000 years. Like that, it totally makes one complete Kali Yuga. And at the end of each Manvantara, there is another Sandhya Kal, when a great flood wipes out the life on earth. And at the end of Kalpa, all life on earth is destroyed, but the planets continue to exist. The souls of individuals also continue to exist to be reincarnated in the next daytime of the Brahma. We will not be having the body. The soul will be present in the body of Lord, and they will come out once again with the same karma. So that karma will decide what kind of body they will get in the next creation. And at the end of life of Brahma, that is Mahapralaya, the entire universe is destroyed. The heaven, the hell, everything is destroyed. Then again, creation begins from beginning one, day one. The Kali Yuga, it has 4,32,000 years. If you take it as a K, then 2 times is Dwapara, 3 times Treta, 4 times Satya. Totally, it makes one cycle. That is Satya to Treta, Dwapara, Kali. So it is 10 times the Kali Yuga. And one Manvantara is 71 of this Mahayuga. So 710 times the Kali Yuga. And each Manvantara is preceded and followed by Sandhya, which is equal to 4 times the Kali Yuga. And one day of Brahma is 14 Manvantara. And together it has 15 Sandhya Kal, beginning and end together. So it is 14 into 710 Kali Yuga plus 15 into 4 times the Kali Yuga. That is 9,940 times the Kali Yuga. It is all in terms of Kali Yuga calculation. Plus 60 times the Kali Yuga. That is 10,000 times Kali Yuga, or 1,000 of 10,000, 10 times Kali Yuga. This is like 1,000 Mahayuga. One Mahayuga is 10 times Kali Yuga. 1,000 of them makes one day of Brahma. That is 1,000 Mahayuga. That is one day. And one night is also same. So double. Then if you take 1 hour divided by 12, this is 24 hours together, divided by 12, that is 360 million human years. 1 minute is 6 million human years. 1 second, 100,000 human years. 1 year is 360 days plus 360 nights. And 1 year, another calculation, 360 into 2 into 4.32 billion human years. That is coming around, one lifetime of Brahma is 311.04 trillion human years. And after that, again, cycle continues. So our life is just like a flash in compared to the life of Brahma. The age of Earth, time elapsed since Brahma's day started. So what position we are at present, 50% of the life of Brahma is over now. So 6 Manvantaras over. This is presently 7th Manvantara. And in 7th Manvantara, there are 71 Mahayuga. In that 27 is over. Now presently we are having 28th Manvantara. Ashtavimshati Tame Kali Yuge. That is 6 into 710K from previous calculation. it comes around 1.97 billion years have already passed in the present Manvantara. And the age of universe, the age of Brahma, 50 years of Brahma is already over. Now Brahma is 51-year-old. That 51 year, the first day, first month is going on. First month, first day is going on. So 50 into 362, 360 into 2 into 1000 into 10K plus age of the earth, that is present Manvantara. So up to here is 50 years over. And this is extra what he has done in this day. That is, in this day also 50% is over. So it is 155.52 trillion years Brahma has already passed out of 311 trillion human years. Now, having this, there is a pastime here. Somebody would like to read? You can raise your hand. Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Lomaharsha Rishi had a benediction that his one hair would fall in one Brahma's day, and he will die when all of his hair had fallen. One hot day, he was meditating on the bank of Ganga when his disciples thought of constructing some shade to protect him from the scorching sun. While they were busy, the sage opened his eyes and asked them not to waste the precious time on irrelevant things. According to him, life is very short and must be used in pursuit of spirituality. How long is our life?
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this Lomaharsha Rishi, his life is very long. That means his one hair would fall in one Brahma's day. So when he loses all the hairs, he will die. That means his life is very, very big. Even having so much of life also, he says life is very short, I have to practice my spirituality. But what is our condition? Our condition is like Brahma's 1 second is our one life. It is very, very small. It's so small lifespan we are having, but still we are planning so much for our life instead of practicing spirituality. We keep for later, later, later. After retirement, I will do. After that, I will do. Not now, not now, not now. Okay, this is about the timings. How devotees transcend death? So there are 3 things when a person is dying. When a materialist is dying, he sorrows about the past. In the earlier, whatever happened in my life, at the time of death, I feel that I have not accomplished everything, or whatever I have done so much of mistakes, or whatever I have done, it's all waste. So he will be having that sorrow of past and pain at the present. At the present, the person who is dying, he may be having some kind of pain in the body, some disease may be there, some medication may be going on. So that pain at the present also there. And also he is leaving all the friends and relatives. Everyone he has to give up, and all his assets, everything, whatever name, fame he has made, everything he has to give up at the time of death. And fear about the future. What will happen to my assets, whatever I have done so much, who will take care of all these things? That fear is also there. The person who is about to die, he will think about all these things, and the death will occur as if 40,000 scorpions are biting him at a time. It is so painful, the death. The death becomes very, very painful for a person who has got attached to this material world. But for a devotee, it is not like that. The example is cat catching the kitten and cat catching the rat. For a non-devotee, it is like cat catching the rat. Death is like that. But for a devotee, it is like cat is catching its own kitten with so much of love and care. So there is no need to worry. So devotees, they don't have any sorrow about the past, because they have spent their life in devotional service. They have practiced Krishna consciousness to their capacity. And pain at present, there is no pain at present as such. There may be small pain because of some bodily pain, but that attachment to the body is not there. Because the attachment is not present, even though there is some pain, he will take it as a benediction so that I can go back to Godhead. And fear of future, there is no fear of future. The future is very bright. The devotee is not going to die. He is giving up his body for living forever, the eternal life in the kingdom of God. So that's how a person can transcend the death. So by this 15th shloka, we can understand, we must know what is this material world and what is spiritual world, and compared to the spiritual world, what is my life at present. Understanding this, one can transcend death and go back to Godhead. One can achieve the eternity. So with this, we have come to the conclusion of today's chapter. So what we have understood, overview of mantra 9 to 14 altogether, 2 sessions, and discussed presenting the statement from mantra 9 regarding advancement of education to the modern audience, and how the process of spiritual life given to us by Srila Prabhupada enables us to achieve a balanced program of spiritual and material, both together, material knowledge. How material knowledge also can be used for spiritual progress, with the examples from our own experience and references. This was the group study, the breakout room. Mood and mission discussed how statements from mantra 12 regarding demigod worship and impersonalism reflect Prabhupada's mood and mission. Shri Hari Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
In modern times, the number of such pretenders has increased considerably, and it has become a problem for the pure devotees of the Lord to save the masses of people from the unholy propaganda of these pretenders and pseudo-incarnations. Mantra 13. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. If anybody has any questions, they can raise their hand and ask questions. Sureshwar Priya Mataji. You can unmute. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
We just saw such a long calculation and a small understanding which I had from my previous lessons. I would like to quote here.
Yeah.
Brahma's night and Brahma's disappearance, 2 different things. So during Brahma's night, there will be a devastation. So that time, all the living entities will get back to God, Lord Krishna as their own soul. Body will not be taken, only the soul will be entering into Lord Krishna.
Not to the, it is to the Karanodakashayi Vishnu.
Karanodakashayi Vishnu, yes. Yeah. So all these jivas will be going back to Karanodakashayi Vishnu and the body will be devastated. So that is supposed to be the short period. And during Brahma's disappearance, there will be a total devastation. That time everybody will be dying, everybody will be annihilated. And that time that Shiva will be coming, he will do his own real work. My understanding is right or wrong, Prabhuji?
Yeah, destruction will be done by Shiva every time.
So that time, that will be the Mahapralaya and everything will be devastated. Yes. Then again, a new era will begin.
Yeah, the Brahmanda itself will be destroyed.
The whole thing will be destroyed. And again, next time, then again, new Brahma, everything is new, isn't it, Prabhuji?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Shri Hari Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. I have 2 queries. First is related to Sureshwari Priya Mataji. Prabhuji, I want, like in Karnodakshahi Vishnu, when he breathes out, lot of Brahmands are created and every Brahmand has a Brahma in that. And all the Brahmas, they have different life cycles.
Yeah.
So the theory which we were discussing right now, that the night of Brahma happens for every Brahmand, it will happen in a different way. And when will the destruction of the Brahma? So does all the universes which are formed with millions of Brahmas, all those small bubbles which we see in the Goloka chart, they all also disappear once, or one bubble goes and then all the bubbles go also once together? What is that mystery?
Yeah, we know only about our universe,
Our
Mataji.
universe, yes.
I don't have so much information about other universes. Only thing I know is there Brahma has more number of head and the Brahmanda is even bigger. But the timings of those Brahmas are not mentioned in any of the Shastra which we have come across.
So, Prabhuji, when we say that every jiva goes in and assembles in the Mahatattva, and then Lord again fertilizes it with the Prakriti or the material nature, and there is a new advent of the universe. So, it is specific to only our Brahman or our particular lok.
One place Prabhupada has told that when Lord Saranadakshay Vishnu takes away all the Brahmandas, then one has to wait for the next creation. That means he takes all the Brahmandas together, because when he breathes in, it is at a time. It is not separate for all. So according to that calculation, the breathing in takes place at a time and breathing out also at a time. When he breathes out, Brahmandas are coming out. When he breathes in, Brahmandas are when he breathes out, Brahmandas are coming out. When he breathes in, Brahmandas are going in. So it is together. According to this calculation, it is all happening together.
Okay, it has nothing, the breathing in and out of Karnodakshayi Vishnu has nothing to do with our Brahma's day and his end of life.
Definitely it is there. He is also under that only.
Okay, Prabhuji, my another question is regarding Madhav Seva and Manav Seva. Like when we hear in society, especially, I have experienced that there was Nirjala Ekadashi, and people were offering all kinds of soft drinks and lassi and chaach and kind of buttermilk to people who are traveling. So it was like an open venture kept on how to convince people in the society, like, because they try, the more they are educated, they try to become more socialist, and they try to take every person at the same particular platform. And if you tell them that why not put this particular, like they created a tent and they wanted to offer, and I merely suggested let's do it outside a temple and let's do it via medium of a temple. So let's go to the ISKCON, which is locally out here. So they were of the opinion, you are being religious and you are partial towards Hindus or those who go, and you don't want to give, this is a Manav Seva and you can give it to anybody, like that kind of. So in that particular aspect, I just wanted to know, how do you convince people that even if we do it like in Gurudwaras, there is langar, but at least people go with the faith over there and then they are fed. If you go to Annadan, like we go for this ISKCON, there is khichdi which is given to everybody. There is no discrimination made on aspect of your religion, caste or anything. But people, when they are entering at least the premises of the temple, something spiritual will work on them.
Yeah.
So that concept, how do we convey it to the most educated, or I would say most elite, and those who have big degrees and all? It's very, very difficult to convince them.
You can have a kirtan side by side during distribution of these things.
Okay.
Possible. That so that they will encourage, because these kirtans, no, everyone will encourage. Or you can add some more extra which is offered to Krishna along with whatever they are distributing. That can be done. Or if you can say, in our temple there is a lot of space so that people can take this prasadam or whatever they are distributing in a proper manner, so that you can at least bring them towards the temple.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Or else you cannot do anything, because that is what they are doing is something better than nothing. Those who are not at all worried about others, they are doing something good. Okay, that is some pious activity. This piety also can take one to Krishna. One day gradually they will also come.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Because it is my personal experience that the more the people are getting higher degrees, higher designations, posts and all, despite of the fact that their parents and their grandparents would have been so religious, they, in the name of modernization, globalization, I don't know what is happening. They consider, like I am considered a backward person, despite of having all these I mean, it is by the grace of the God. So they look down like you are too backward and orthodox and very stringent. You are partial. We also believe in God. Everybody is like you told those that philosophy of I am God, you are God, everybody is God.
It is like Maya Apahrata Jnana. Their intelligence has been stolen by Maya.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Harini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question. Like in the Sanatan Dharma, at the time of death, there are many rituals that have been done for the departed soul. Like we have a 3 days Shrad and the 13 days Shrad. And when we do that, that prepares the body for that soul, right? I wanted to ask, what about the other religion, like in the Christian or Muslim? What happened to the soul? Like, does Yamdut come and take them? Is it the same process like that? Or because in there, when there is death, there is no such ritual going on? I wanted to know. Because at
Yamaraj
one
is
point,
not Hindu or Christian or Muslim. Yamaraj is Yamaraj. You can't
yes,
say for Hindus what you do, for Christianity, don't bring the politics there also. But
yes, because
everything will happen same, Mataji. Everyone will be taken to the same kind of justice, and
yes,
they will be given whatever reward or punishment. It is not that one who has taken birth in the Muslim or Christian, they are impious or they will only go to hell or something like that. There are so many pious people among them also. They will be given the right opportunity. They will also, whatever, see, piety, the punya is the credit, papa is the debit. So whatever based on the calculation, you will be sent to the heaven or hell based on your activity, whether if it is materialistic. If you have done any spiritual activity, you will be promotion to the better opportunity to serve the Lord. And if you are come to the perfection of spirituality, then you will go back to Godhead.
yes, because why I'm asking this question, because see, it is said that religion is man-made, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there is only one, that is Sanatan Dharma, right?
Yeah.
But when in one of clause that I listened earlier, there was a preacher who was saying that, like, for the Muslim community, it's like there will be a day of a judgment for them. But then that doesn't make sense.
They that is their understanding. See, they say like that. See, Allah is sitting on the golden throne. That is their understanding. We don't say it is wrong. That is their vision, what they have understood from their parampara.
Okay, so the thing is that the same rule apply for everyone.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Okay, if there are no more questions, then we'll end for today. We'll continue in the next session. That is 15, 16, 17, 18. Last 4 shlokas are remaining. I thank all the devotees for coming to this session and actively participating in the discussion. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I had just one question.
Yeah.
When is the last class? When are we going to conclude this unit?
Yeah, next this Ishopanishad will be over by next week. Most probably it will be over because 4 shlokas are remaining.
Right, but then we have nectar of instruction
Next
also.
instruction. Let me see how many sessions are there.